There's a few things the Lord laid on my heart, and it will not take long. There's a scripture out of Proverbs written by King Solomon. Solomon was declared to be the most wise person on all the earth. No matter who your idol is in today's present world, Solomon puts head and shoulders above him. And so I want to read to you out of Proverbs chapter 4, because it's been a lesson that I learned, 40 plus years ago, and it's been a guiding light and foundation to my life. So I think it will help you too if you receive it, and it's because it's very, very impactful about it, keeping us on the right path and not veering into one ditch and another, but keeping us on the right path. It comes out of Proverbs chapter 4, and it's going to start in verse 20, where it says, Solomon is writing to his son, and I think maybe his son was might have been a little bit of a rebellious nature. And so he says, My son, attend to my words, incline thy ear unto my sayings, and let them not depart from thine eyes, and keep them in the midst of thine heart. Remember, Solomon was and is and will be known as the wisest man on planet Earth. He goes on to say, For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. And I love verse 23 because it is a cornerstone, should be a cornerstone of our lives. It says, Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. And he goes on to say, Put away from thee the forward mouth and perverse lips, put far from thee. Let thine eyes look right on. Let not thine eyelids, not let thine eyelids stray away from a straight path. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. It's a good word. It's a great word. And so that will be one part of my prayer. Because if you ask me to come in and to pray, and I don't have my prayer on any kind of biblical foundation, I've wasted your time, I've wasted my time. It's like building a house, and if you don't build it on a foundation, it's going to fall. Amen, really good. So that's one part of my prayer, particularly in verse 23, Keep thine heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. And I want to share another scripture with you over in Matthew, and I chose this scripture because it's probably maybe the most well-known scripture that everybody has heard, quote, read. I'm going to just speak of an excerpt out of that, as we know it as the Lord's Prayer. He says here in Matthew chapter 6, verse 11, he says, Give us this day our daily bread. This just came to me a few days ago. We tend to think of that, give us this day our daily bread. Maybe we've often thought about it. Sometimes we've got to unload some things so we can learn truth. And we get thinking about, give us this day our daily bread. We're praying that the Lord will give us all the natural things we need in life. What are we going to eat? What are we going to drink? What are we going to wear? Well, that word bread, I've done some studying on it. That's used many times in the Bible. And bread in its use in the Bible doesn't necessarily and probably doesn't refer to just our natural provision. Maybe a shock to some of you. Maybe there's something more important than just our natural provision. Matter of fact, in that same chapter, if you go just a few verses on down the chapter there, and in my Bible it's all written in red, so it isn't two separate discussions. It's all written in red. Same discussion. Jesus is speaking to his disciples at the same time. This is what he's saying. So we get on down the Bible, on down the verses there, he's saying, don't take any thought of what you eat, or what you drink, or what you wear. I'm glad that you all came with some clothes on this morning. That's a good thing. But why in the world would he say, give us this day our daily bread? That would be a prayer of need in our life. If you hadn't already said or going to say in just the next few words, don't take any thought for those things. Must be something deeper there. I think what he is saying there, and this is Bob's interpretation, I guess. Give us today the grace that we need to do well with the affairs of life in this day. Let me quote that again. Today, Lord God, I pray that I would receive the grace that I need.
Is this church or a Board of Supervisors meeting call?
Jesus, please mute.
Today, give me the grace that I need to do well in my life, this day, in this place, in this time, for this purpose. Right.
You've been muted. To unmute yourself, press star.
Talking about the bread.
You are no longer muted. You've been muted. To unmute
Have I been
yourself,
muted?
press star 6.
Technology.
Technology. Oh, bless the Lord. And Jesus even says in John
You are no longer
chapter
muted.
6, he said, I am the bread of life. So he's not talking about something that you eat. He's talking about a grace on your life to do well in this time, in this place, for this purpose. So that's the second part of my prayer. My wife and I pray over our leaders of our nation, leaders of our state, and local leaderships nearly every day. And this is how we pray. And so we will pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, I come to you. I pray over these leaders of our community, of our county, and our community, Lord God, that they keep their heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of life. And I thank you, Lord God, that they don't look to the right or to the left, but your word declares that your word is a lamp to their feet, a light to their path. The entrance of your word into their heart gives light and understanding to the simple things. You've never meant for life to be difficult, hard to understand, and hard to navigate and walk through. We're always to be led by the guiding light, and that's you, Lord Jesus. So my first part of the prayer today, Lord God, is that our leaders, matter of fact, all the people here that come for whatever reason, Lord God, would keep their heart with all diligence. For the true issues of life flow out of that. I thank you, Lord God, also, Lord, that we receive your words that as we pray for the grace that you have given to us because of the sacrifice of Jesus, to give us that grace that we would be led by you to do well at this particular time, this place in history, even though it is a very, in our lives, a very, very short speck of time and eternity. And we would have the grace and receive the grace from you to do well. And we give you thanks for that today. Pray this over our leaders. Pray this over every people within the sound of my voice, Lord God, for it is a lamp for our feet, and it is a light to our path. We thank you, Lord, that you have given us the lamp and the light to guide us and direct our paths. We give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Is that longer than 3 minutes? Or did you get it?
Yeah, it's okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and do a roll call. Fitch?
Here.
Stancil? Here? Hobbs?
Here.
All right, we'll go ahead and review the agenda. Is there any disclosure of conflict of interest or any changes to the agenda desired?
I have a change. I would like to move the meeting Decorum discussion up.
Where would you like to move it up?
I guess the sooner the better.
Do we want to do it before public hearings? Or,
That would be good.
okay.
It's already been published. Probably should.
Well, we can amend the agenda afterwards. I'm fine with that. That's, you added that to the, that's your agenda item. I'm all right with doing that.
So you're moving it
Before the, so after the consent agenda, before the public hearings. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda as requested to be amended?
So moved.
I have a second. I will second that. All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion carries. All right, let's go ahead and move forward with the consent agenda. Sorry, my thing just disappeared off my screen. I apologize. All right, do you have a move to approve the consent? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, we have your agenda item, Jess, that we just moved.
Okay, so I sent a communication to Sheriff Barnes on August 6th, and I'm just gonna read that. Sheriff Barnes, it's imperative that we lower the temperature of our BOS meetings. I would like to suggest the following to Supervisor Stancil at the start of the meeting on Tuesday. This didn't happen, of course, back then. Citizens have the right to be heard and will continue to have the right to speak freely in public comment for up to 3 minutes. If citizens interrupt proceedings, I ask that we pause the meeting, identify the individual who disrupted, and offer them one warning. If the individual interrupts a second time, they will be asked to leave. Of course, I will need agreement from other BOS members. Will you and your deputies support that approach and escort any disruptors from the meeting if asked? Thank you for your help with establishing more positive and productive meetings for everyone. I'm also open to discussing this in person on and on. So, I would like to have some decorum in these meetings so that we can stay focused and get business done. So I guess, is that approach okay with the fellow board members?
I'm okay with that, because I don't know about you guys, but I've actually received complaints from members of the public that could not hear because of the disruptions in the meeting. I would ask that while this is a public meeting and we do have public comment, people here, we want to be respectful, because the whole purpose of the meeting is so people can see what we're doing. And if they can't see what we're doing, they can't hear what we're doing, then it disenfranchises the other people that want to hear. So I'm going to ask that any kind of feedback be done during only public comment. If you wish to talk afterwards, please go out into the hallway and close the doors so we can continue with our meeting. If, of course, afterwards, you are free to contact any of us individually with concerns or issues. That is always the case. So I don't know if that's just...
Well, the only thing that I didn't address in here is what happens if somebody continues to disrupt continually, meeting after meeting. Do we have 3 strikes and then they're removed from our meetings entirely?
You mean trespass?
Yeah.
If it's making it hard for other members of the public, I think we should do that.
I'm willing to just, for now, settle on one warning. You disrupt our meeting, one warning. 1. Is that acceptable, Sheriff Barnes? Can you support that? And they'll be asked to leave if they interrupt a second time?
If I feel they need to be removed, I'll remove.
So, what will your parameters be?
That was my answer right there. If I feel they need to be removed, they'll be removed. It's a 2-way street.
For sure.
Gotta keep that in mind.
Right, that's true, but if they're interrupting our meeting and we cannot continue because of that,
Then we'll remove
it disenfranchises the rest of the people here.
Then we remove them.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, all right, now we're going on to public hearing. This is the public hearing for the sale of the old conservation building. I don't know if you guys saw in your packet the resolution. Basically, what we have to do to sell a public building, we have to do 2 things first. We have to get an appraisal, and then it's required that it go to public auction. So we didn't have any folks that were willing to do the auction for free, so we had bids come in and we chose an auctioneer to provide that. So in the resolution, you'll see the appraisal. The building appraised at $190,000. The appraisal cost was $800. And to auction the building, they get a 2.5% commission on the sale. So, if the building sells for less, obviously the commission cost will be less. If it sells for more, it'll be more than that.
It
So-
can't sell for less than the appraisal, can it?
Well, we're not supposed to do that, no. That's the,
We want to keep it at the
it's
appraisal
the
price.
reserve, it's the reserve. So hopefully it sells for more, and that will put more money into the conservation board's coffers, which would be great, right? So, anyway, so we have the public hearing right now. If you wish to speak about the sale of the conservation building, please come up. And because it is a public hearing, you actually have 10 minutes to speak. So if you have any comment, go ahead and state your name and come up and say it. Anyone? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move to the phone. We're gonna have, ask if you wish to speak, please hit *6 and unmute yourself so we can hear what you need to say. Does anybody unmute? All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing then, seeing no more comments, and we'll move on to department head reports and discussion, so the meeting was closed up. Okay, so, go ahead, department head reports and discussion. Brady, did you have an update?
I have nothing from the last meeting.
No? Okay. All right. Mike?
Yep,
Yep.
I'll take your time, that's right.
Thank you.
I'll make this quick. Good morning, my name is Mike Hackett, I'm the Madison County Secondary Roads Engineer. I bring to you today 4 resolutions. They are typical resolutions, A, B, C, and D of secondary roads. A is a water main break, and B is a bridge deck replacement. C is a pipe culvert replacement, and resolution D is a water main break. These are road closures for temporary repairs. We do not do water main. That is actually a rural water that had a break in 2 places. I believe one of them had to do with other utility installations in the right of way. Don't know exactly what broke there, and the other one might be because of the dry weather. I don't know, but it is extremely dry. So those are the resolutions I bring to you. Again, those are temporary road closures. You may, if you want to, consider to do them once. They're basically the same. The pipe is done. The bridge is being worked on. That's a wooden deck replacement on a truss bridge that I wish we could get replaced. However, we don't have the money to replace everything, so the wooden deck will prolong its life until we can get more funding to at least keep the structure open. As far as other things that are going on, I'm going to kind of jump to the Cummings Road project. Okay. So, the Cummings Road project received. The box kind of stayed.
We didn't take these home.
No, you can't. I got to give them back to the end.
Okay.
Received a 4-inch overlay. That's 2 inches nominal thickness, so a total of 4. And what that is that's asphalted pavement. After the pavement is put down, we go out and we take cores to test its strength in relationship to density. So 100% would be totally fantastic, but usually it's around 98%.
So all of this
It's
is
one lift, and there's
One
2
lift.
lifts. Yeah,
Oh, so there's another one on
Yep,
top.
so if I may borrow one of these, or both of them. There are places out on the highway that you would have, this would be the finished product, over 6 inches of existing pavement. We have some few places out there that you would have some that. So that'll get you about 20 years. It'll end up being stretched to 30. And when I'm still here in 20 years, we'll hold in place, recycle it, and put a cap on it. So
Why is some of it 4 and some of it 6? Is that?
there's some places that were structurally deficient. And I'll talk about the edge here if you want to, and then I want to take a lot of your time today with this fun stuff.
Is this the top, the black?
That's actually the bottom. The paint on top is where we take the cores, a little bit of the process. That's a mixed design. It has 2 larger size of aggregate and sand, and then I buy 2 minutes product or a wet-based product, and that makes asphalt. It's heated and combined, brought out on a project, laid down with a machine, and then the rollers that you see behind it compact the material, and then it cools. Next day we come out and take the samples in random places to check the density to make sure we're getting the product that we're specified. So that's why I bring that in. You can see the cross section, the side of it, and how the rocks are all kind of distributed evenly. That's a good indication of the strengths. Pretty good. That project is about 80% complete. Contractors moved on and out, off and on the job, and we've had weather today. They're going to finish some of the, what do they call, fillets of driveways, and then mainline paving, shoulders, and guardrail enhancement. So that's where that project's at. Bridge project, hopefully we're setting beams at the end of the week. That's the Pitzer Road. Again, weather kind of set that back a little bit for us, but it's pretty much on track. Same with road conditions. We've talked about that a little bit. It's been extremely dry. We've received a lot of feedback on dust. Along with that usually comes speeding. You know, they may not be speeding. A lot of times the dust makes it look like they are. So we had a lot of feedback the last couple of weeks on that. We did get rain overnight. Hopefully that takes care of that stuff. All our blades are out trying to maintain what they can maintain. Again, each guy has 80 miles, so it takes a little time to get that over. Hopefully we get more rain as we go into the fall. Submitted the annual engineers report. I think talked a little bit about that one. That was submitted midweek. It's up for DOT review. Hope to get a review back on that the next 2 weeks. Phone system. That's kind of bad news. This morning walked in the office. Our phone system's down. It completely went down. It's about 20 years old. It's about as old as the building. So the phone rings and we pick it up and answer it, and we have 2 lines, but our voicemail and routing is under the weather right now. I have some technicians gonna take a look at it and see where we're at. It's an analog system. I'm guessing it might be at the end of its lifespan. So we'll have to see what options we need to go there. Otherwise, the rest of the office and myself right now, besides the construction projects, right away on upcoming bridge projects, which I think I presented some plan to that, so we're in the right way process there. I don't have anything else.
Mike, who, refresh my memory, is it CenturyLink or MediaCom that provides your service there?
So the only thing that MediaCom provides the service, because we're on the edge of town and that's kind of what we have. The only service they provide for us is the phone lines and the internet. The actual phone service itself is, well, it's an old comm dial system.
Right.
It's
Use
on
analog.
site, yeah.
It uses analog port.
Yeah.
The reason why I ask is because all our other buildings have MediaCom for their phone and their internet.
Sure.
Using kind of a VoIP type system. So that would probably be the least expensive option.
Yeah, I will have to look into it, but that bad thing is yes, we'll have to look into it.
So
It's always cost with everything,
if
unfortunately.
you want assistance with that,
Yeah, you bet.
that could spread out the cost of the new equipment out for
Yep.
quite a bit of time.
Yep. You bet. All right, I don't have anything else. Wasn't too long. All right, thank you. I'll get those after the meeting.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Mike.
All right, Michelle.
Good morning. I'm just going to read my report. I'm going to segue to the treasurer. I'm going to kind of tag team our update. First, start with our tax statement update. First and foremost, we needed to process tax statements. Now you know I started Wednesday, September 3rd at ground zero. The first 3 days were spent correcting agricultural land credits. And because of previous discussions in the meetings, I'd like to clarify that. These were triggered by a tax district change, not from parcels being not maintained or changes in ownership and the size of parcels that would have affected whether or not something got a agricultural tax credit. So this was something that happened from the assessor's side. There's two ways to update a tax district change, whether you're going to do it standalone or you're going to do it combined. And it was done standalone, and the second piece didn't happen. So that is all I know about that, but it's fixed. I did find also that the other reference where tax parcels that were either had subtractions or additions in land that would have affected whether or not they received tax credits, that was an audit that's done every June and July, and I did find those records that they have been done. So with that, I'm going to let the treasurer step up and provide the most recent update with the tax statement process. If she would, please, thank you.
Guess what? So, today I'm in my very last part of the tax statement. So, they are being emailed to our third-party vendor, and they will have those, they have agreed to have those expedited out to mail out to all of our citizens. And then they will be online tomorrow, so you will be able to pay online tomorrow. Another way that you can pay your taxes is that if you know all your parcel numbers, you know your entity numbers, you will be able to come into the office with those, with all of that information, and you can pay, and we can look those up for you. We also do have that beautiful, cute little black box outside of our office. Once you do get your statements and you have all that, rip off that first tag with your check or however you're paying, and you can slip that into that black box, and we will get that entered into your account. So the delinquent date will be October 24th, but exciting.
So
It's there.
if they get it in the mail, and it's maybe they don't get it right away, is October the 24th their last final day of
Hard date.
That is
That's
the
the hard date
Yeah,
for
that
payment.
was, the Attorney General, that was what they told us.
So after that, they'd be assessed late fees and interest?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that based on the day that the statements are mailed, 30 days from that date then?
That is
Or
when
is this just a-
taxes are certified, so that is today, and then the delinquent date is the 24th, so.
So you'll certify them today.
They've
Yep,
been
they're certified.
Oh, they're certified. So then no matter when they get it in the mail, the hard date is the 24th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the way it always works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you ladies be posting an update to our website and
Yeah.
others otherwise? I think
Yeah.
the last one was September.
Yeah, I, 5 minutes before, got all this information of that it will be online tomorrow, and
Great,
so yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
One question, maybe you can't answer this yet. Do you know, these changes and corrections, if it's affected our expected revenues?
I mean, right now, currently, yes, but once that stuff, once we get those taxes out, and then once they start coming in, then we're going to start being caught up again.
No,
So-
I'm not received, I
Oh.
mean actual to estimated, because we were given estimated revenues based on valuations before these corrections were done. Do we know if those valuations have changed significantly enough to where the expected revenues coming in are gonna be different? Do we know that yet, or is that still kind of?
Are you speaking about the homestead?
No, not the homestead, because there were some questions regarding, things were not, the credits that were given were not correct, and they had to go back and correct, and we didn't know how that would
That's
affect
the
revenue.
homestead.
Yeah,
That's what those are.
Okay,
Right.
so do we know if that's affected revenue significantly than what was
No, I don't-
predicted?
No,
Our revenue is going to be up, isn't it? Because of all the new bills. Aren't we gonna have a little more revenue?
well,
They're not going to be,
right.
they're not going to be getting the values that they're not going to be getting the values that they thought they were going to get. So
Right.
we've gotta quantify that.
Right, so that's what I'm asking is, maybe we don't know yet, because you just like 5 minutes ago,
Right.
so that could be something we find out later, but but we were based on, X credits, X valuations, now we had to make some changes, so is that gonna affect the expected revenues coming in, because taxpayers may be paying less than what you were expecting?
That
or
would be
more than what we were
logical.
expecting?
That would be logical.
Okay.
But I don't wanna go any farther than that, because I don't wanna misspeak.
Okay, all
I
right.
think that was in April, eighth lunch in April, so.
Yeah. Is there,
When will we know where
No,
they
these-
shook out?
some of this would affect this statement coming out October.
I'm saying, what you're speaking of, where the credits were the in of the correct amount, they're a fixed. That happened, should have happened back in March when you were doing the budget.
Okay.
That's
so
why
it'll
your levy
affect-
amount, that's why that's going to be.
Okay, so it'll affect next year's expected revenue, because that'll be based on that.
No, this would be this year.
It'll be this year, okay. So that's what I was asking, is are we expecting?
We'll
a
let you
different
know.
amount? Okay,
As soon as we know.
okay, all right.
So getting far.
Okay.
All right, any other questions about the tax process? Thank you.
Thank you for the update.
You're welcome. So fiscal year ending 2025, that I have a resolution on the agenda. Next is making corrections to this. The resolution in your packet asks for you to approve option B. Despite comments made about the state auditor's office last week, we were still able to have a conversation and garner their assistance along with solutions, and we've arrived at the best course of action using GAAP. This is imperative if we're gonna prepare the treasurer's office to start receiving tax payments and be able to process them quickly and accurately. It has been indicated to us that this needs to happen within the next 2 weeks, and that's why it's on the agenda, and I'm hopeful. What questions do you have about that? Or do you wanna wait until you go to discuss it during consideration of the resolution?
We can discuss it then, but I do have a question for you. On the resolution, we can talk about that. I think it emailed you about whether it's accept, change.
Correct, it's just, an ABC was what they gave us.
Right.
And then they sent us, we said, yes, we wanna do B, which they didn't call it B, they didn't call it 2, they just
Right.
reverbaged what that option was. So we agree, we sign, we move on with our lives.
But on the form itself, it says accept, change, or delete, and it said circle 1, and none of them are circled, so I didn't know.
But you want the option B.
I want
Well,
option
that's
B
what the
as the,
suggestion
that's on the attachment.
So that is like that request that.
You and I
that
will
form
make
is
sure,
signed.
yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it says option 2, so I
Correct.
assume we're talking about the same one, right?
I think we're talking about two different things. So there's the form where it has the options, and then the actual form that the board chair has to sign, where it says, we agree to, please circle 1, add, change, delete. And that was my question, is there was nothing circled, so I
So
didn't
do
know if it
you,
was
if you could
applicable or
read
not.
back to option B though, that's what we're doing, or option 2, that's what we're doing.
Okay, so
I
that
think it
is
used
the
all
form.
those words.
So it's option
It
2,
used all
but
those
you're,
words.
option 2,
All
but
of
you're
them.
calling it option B. Okay.
Oh, so they're doing all of that,
There
That's right.
could be, like I said, we
Okay.
are opening it up.
so we don't know. Okay, got it. Okay.
It will be done, it will be done right.
Okay.
That is all, that's all our goal is just, let's get to where we're at ground zero, no more worrying about where we stand, and that we can all talk to each other now, whether it's secondary roads, treasurer, and the auditor's office, we're all coordinated.
Okay. So, and they, the state auditor was agreeable to option 2.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Good. Okay.
And as was solutions.
Okay. Good. All right.
So, then once we've had time to correct year end, we move on to staff. I have a resolution here hiring L Greenman. I wanna talk about that in the reason, there was a question why the original resolution name was blank. What was, we had to move, we interviewed 3 people. We, wanted to go through the protocol of advertising, interviewing, and one of our interviewees had to move their interview date to the date that the resolutions were due. And I did not think it would be courteous, after we'd had our consideration, to put out a resolution with the hiring name before we had an opportunity to call both of the other people and tell them why we had gone the direction we went. So please understand, it was nothing to be hidden or, okay, please understand.
So is this maybe this is a personal question you can't answer, but last week you had requested to put a hiring resolution on last week's agenda. Did you not have did you have a selection and it fell apart, or?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
we were in the process, so,
Okay.
and then, of course, it was off, so because of the response to me that you didn't
Right.
want to put it on there.
I just
so.
assumed you'd already chosen someone, so that's why.
Nope, we conducted our 3 interviews and, no, we did not notify anybody until after the last resolution, or after the interview. So I just want to add to this, and it's mostly in response to, needing to know where we are on the budget. And, you know, misspending and misbudgeting is really no reason for the auditor's office to go without staff. And there's a few reasons I believe in best practices to have cross-training, bench strength to avoid gaps in service and truly repair the auditor's office. Our new hire is a previous auditor in Ringgold County. She comes with a lot of experience. And she fits the staffing structure that was created by the budget that was approved by the Board of Supervisors for fiscal year 25-26. I also want to kind of remind everybody that the auditor's office is now taking back on IT, human resources. We should be getting back custodian of the courthouse and the clerk duty. So with staff comes supervision, oversight, and we just need to be firing on all cylinders, especially with the newness of all of our employees.
But HR reported to the auditor before, right?
Yeah, at one time, yes,
Right.
when I first started HR.
Right. And IT, you should be doing a lot of IT stuff because that's handled by our managed service provider.
Sure, but remember we have elections and we utilize the IT person for those elections and to work with us. So, I mean, again, I'm hopeful that everybody understands this is not a luxury, this is a need. I wanna add here that even though, to follow up on the payroll system, I did some more digging. I talked with staff, I talked with department heads, and the general feeling is it is not broken. We needed leadership, we needed training, we needed attention to detail, and so through training and leadership, we seem to have turned a corner. Once the end of the year balances have been corrected, it should even be better. I witnessed a real sense of cooperation and growing within our department. And therefore, I do not find that the $15,500 unbudgeted amount is wise at this time. I'd be happy to reconsider it for the next fiscal year. Go to next to the election update. The special election for the auditor cost was $12,950. There was money budgeted anticipating a special election, but that was for the treasurer's office. However, only $4,346 was budgeted, and I'll give you guys a spreadsheet for this. Concerning, this is an $8,600 difference, but please note, Atkins came in for election supervision, and that represented $4,250 of that. Upon review of the budget, it appears there was no money budgeted for the city or school elections coming up. There was $17,300 budgeted, I'm assuming, for primary, and this will need to be addressed once the taxes and the year end is resolved. I will be consulting with ISEC for best practices on how to address this. Again, I need to investigate further. I've literally not been able to come up for mayor because of the taxes. Further, annual audit for the fiscal year 24-25. There's a resolution there, both the treasurer and I would like to speak to this. We feel strongly that continuity is key for cost savings of the county, and I've tried respectfully to outline my reasons for that in the resolutions itself.
I guess I just wanna say that I ask you that we keep using the state auditor. You all know what, just sort of know, but you two know the parameter of what has gone on. So state auditors know what has gone on and are very, they're very well informed, and so I do not wanna have to, I do not wanna have to go down detail again with another auditor and try to explain this again. It is hard enough to just explain it to a different treasurer or someone else when I'm trying to get help with the tax situation or something like that. There are people that just don't understand. Our county has done certain things backwards for a long time, and every single time I talk to a treasurer, they're like, wait, you do it this way, it should be this way. So it is just very important, I feel, that we stick with the state auditor this year. I'm not saying that we can't for the next time, but I just feel that it would be very important to do it until this stuff is resolved, and then once it's resolved, then I'm game for something, something different and saving money and that sort of thing. But it's just, you two know very well that the chaos behind everything.
Well, we've spent $100,000 already with the state auditor's office.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we still don't have fiscal 23 or 24 in our possession yet, which is concerning to me.
Right.
We've already paid that final bill and we still don't have it.
Right, because there was new things that were questioned.
It wasn't a normal situation. We talked with them about what we could expect, and they said that once, again, chapter 11, we really can't go into a lot of detail right now at these open meetings. But what they said was they could expect it to return down to the 25,000 that we normally would do. And if they need to put that in writing, they will. But again, going out to bid now, not April or, I guess I'm just not earlier in the year is concerning, especially with the time constraints.
Yeah.
On two of my boards, we went out to bid for auditors, and it takes, on one board, there was no response.
Well,
And so.
I've got that thought of it. I know what we need to do if you're going to direct us to go out. I've got the process, looked up, researched, know what we need to do, know how we need to publish. We're just asking for a year. That's what we're asking for.
It can take a long time to go out for RFPs, and.
Well, I've got all
I
that
understand,
done.
you understand, but let's not change what you're doing.
Well, so the public has come to us multiple times, and you as well have said that we need to get multiple bids for things before we spend money.
Absolutely.
So, and if we can get a multiple bid, not just on 1 year, but 3 year, which is what the supervisor resolution has, is that provides economies of scale and continuity.
And in a normal situation, I would agree with that.
So, and this is not a normal situation, I agree with that.
Right.
The concerns I have though is that we were told in June that the audit was done. 24 and 23 were done. That's why we paid them. And now we're hearing it's not done.
Right, and I think part of that is because that main person that was handling that went on maternity leave. And then when she just came back,
There's one question left.
yes, and.
To resolve, and they're waiting on a request from us.
And then
So
once.
I'm trying to convey that
Right.
this is not a deficiency on their part.
Okay, so the other concern we talked about was the fact that, the cost, because we don't know what the cost is, they keep sending us bills, so it's hard to plan for that kind of thing. The other thing is I want someone to do our audit that does not have any kind of political agenda. We had someone from the State Auditor's office come down and sit in a room with all our elections equipment, both during business hours and after hours, and that person is not an auditor, they are not a CPA,
But maybe,
they are not, may I finish? They are not an accountant, and I'm concerned about that because I am tired of the drama in our county.
I can clarify that, she had a reason to be there, so.
Oh, I know, she had a subpoena, I understand.
And she
but-
also was not a reporter, she actually worked as an investigator for the state.
I
audit.
understand that, but, Auditor Sand has in the past gone outside his lane, and he's been told not to do that. In fact, legislators have already made inquiries onto this.
I would like
This
to
is an
address
election
this.
year, he is gonna be on the ballot, I'm very concerned, I don't want anybody questioning anything about our elections. If we have somebody come in who is not political, who has no agenda, I will feel more comfortable with that.
But all they're asking us to do is to let them do their job. They want the state to continue this so they can get it done. That's
We
all.
can have
Let them do their
we can have a
jobs.
private auditor do the same thing.
Then you have to put RFPs, and what if they don't wanna work
Design-
here?
And if they don't wanna work here, that's fine, but I've already reached out to other,
I think our
Firms.
job is
Yes,
to
Mike,
let
I
them
do.
do, I think our
Why don't
job
we
is.
we'll stop our
we'll stop the
conversation.
conversation, we'll talk about it as a board,
And
but
of
I
course,
appreciate-
I understand, I want you to have confidence in us that we can get this wrapped up and we can get it done well, and we're gonna save money in the long run, and we're gonna stop the missteps.
So one other thing I wanted to talk to you about regarding the staffing, for the part-time deputy, currently that position, the person that held it before was only working on average 7 hours a week. And looking
That
at,
wasn't her position, that she was not a
that's where it was,
deputy.
that's where it was being paid out of.
That's correct, but that's not the budget.
Well, that's, the budget right now, where you stand right now, you are fine with your budget right now, but that's not accounting for the fact we don't have enough money for the election coming up because we spent more than we thought on the special.
We don't know that
We
we
don't.
don't have enough money for the budget, because
We are at 24% right now in your budget, and it's not even the end of September yet.
and again, misbudgeting is not a reason. And again, I'm actually following my budget.
Right.
Because
If
where
you
are
don't have-
you guys gonna get your money for your stuff?
Right, if we don't have it,
And I'm not
that's a
paying for it.
conversation we're gonna have to have, because I'm worried about that, especially
Right.
when we're gonna have 30 days late revenues coming in. So,
I want
I'm
you to know
concerned
that
about
I'm
money.
suggesting, I'm asking for you to respect the budget that you wrote and that you approved.
but right now, if we approve this, it'll put you over budget. Based on the finances, I'm not looking at the line items, I'm looking at the totals. Right now, if we approve this right now, it's gonna put you over budget.
Then I disagree. I think that in the long run, it's gonna be fine. Right, we're gonna find the money somewhere.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. I appreciate both of your hard work on all of this. I know it hasn't been easy.
Good job getting those taxes.
Yes, thank
Done.
you, thank you. I'm sure everyone's gonna be eager to pay them
Yeah.
right away. So, okay, moving on. Ryan, you're up.
Just been chilling out. I've left his promise.
He said he'd come and get them.
Oh, okay.
Take them home.
Chocolate. It's only been 2 weeks since we've been here last, well, we were on the call from DC last time. So we'll be pretty short and brief. So just looking at our revolving loan fund right now, we've got $51,000 sitting there right now. We have this, we'll just do a little context on that, so how that revolving loan fund works. So that fund was started in 2007, it was $100,000 initial starting balance that was $90,000 in federal money from the Red Fund, which is a USDA program for rural communities. Red Lag is Rural Economic Development Loan and Grant Program, and then $10,000 in local match from the city of Leonard, Sept, and Mass County Development Group.
What's your balance now?
Well, we'll get there. So since that time, we've done 20 loans. Our typical loans are between $20,000 and $30,000, and our total portfolio value is just over $180,000. We don't derive any revenue from the fund. We do get a loan origination fee of 1% just to help offset some staff costs to administer the fund. The fund is there to kind of help facilitate projects, to help, like where bank lending does not want to tread. That's kind of our purview, or to take the riskier slice of the pie. With that in mind, so we currently have $51,000 in the fund out of our 180 portfolio. We have 7 active loans. We do have a project that is headed toward payoff, so that 7 will drop to 6, and that will put us at about $80,000 in the fund. We do have a loan that we are working on, probably a couple months out, that we have a business that has closed on a building, and we will hopefully help them with renovations, taking the second position after the bank. We did also help another loan, help put a revolving loan fund package together for another revolving loan fund, so not ours, but Farmers Electric Cooperative. We may decide we can move faster than they can. We're just, because everything is kind of under our roof, we have a lot more agility, so we may end up pulling that one in here instead of doing it out there. So, otherwise, things are generally kind of about where we left them 2 weeks ago. You know, we're still working with NCDG land. We're still working on Earlham Industrial Site and Earlham Housing, some potential sites there. We are still having site discussions with 2 businesses in Winterset. We were working with a warehouse to site the eastern part of the county. They have shelved that project, so we didn't lose it to Warren. They've just shelved the project completely at this time. So we will circle back with them in 6 to 9 months to see if it's something that they want to put back on the table. But as of right now, that's about 40,000 square foot warehouse that's shelved. So, we're still doing redevelopment work. So we're still talking about workforce housing tax credits for upstairs housing units in Winterset. If that goes well, we might expand it to Earlham. We're also still looking at infill housing in Winterset. We've identified a number of potential sites, and we're having conversations with multiple builders on seeing if we can proceed with that. If that goes well, we'll expand that to other communities as well. On the foundation side of things, we are still having conversations with Mitch about doing some direct assistance to homeowners affected by the water event in July, and we're kind of working on board recruitment. Since I think 30% of the board will turn over this year. A lot of them will term out. They got 3-year terms. They can serve 9. After that, they have to take a 1-year off. So that's what we got going on. You got any questions?
I forwarded you a couple folks with inquiries on
Yes.
stuff. Have any of those panned out?
Most of them, just the sites are usually incompatible with what we have, scale utilities. So, I mean, so when you get an RFP like that, so we will try to, the goal is really to survive in the pool. So your goal is to try to hopefully, hopefully the square peg fits the square peg the hole you have, and then like the site you have available, and you can make that work. And your goal is basically to kind of survive multiple iterations of kicking you out of the pool.
Yeah.
And that usually looks like a cold shoulder, and you'll call that. So it's like modern dating. Yeah, you're just goes blank, and you don't hear it.
Started right, swipe left.
Yeah. So that's a lot of what site selection looks like these days. So,
Okay.
any other questions?
How does the appointments go, or for the board?
So usually there's an application process, and then the board members will elect. Yeah.
Okay. Was that true for the elected official on here? Did I send them off, or?
There is an elected official, I think it's Diane right now, and she doesn't have a vote, but she can sit at the table.
Okay.
So that's how that works.
Okay.
And I sit at the table and just listen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That's kind of what we got. Any other questions? Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All All right, we are now up to the time for public comment. Folks on the phone, we're gonna go ahead and take folks here first, and then we will move to the phone, and I'll remind you to unmute your phone at that time, so I appreciate your patience. All right, those that wish to speak, go ahead and speak at the microphone. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and where you live. City, you don't have to give the address, city is fine.
You could just come on, it's okay.
Anyone wish to come up?
Vicki Brenner, Winterset, Iowa. I would just like to take this minute to correct some misinformation regarding the visit by the state auditor's investigator mentioned at last week's meeting and now at today's meeting. I trust you value citizens who share accurate information, especially when critical decisions affecting our community are made. My intent was and is to share facts regarding Auditor Brant's request to hire the state auditor for 25 in order to assist solutions to continue working on accounting errors. Both audits are unconfirmed for 23-24, which we know is connected to the Treasurer's Office investigation. Supervisors Stancil and Hobbs opposed Brant's request and accused the state auditor of political bias. They reference investigations out of context and they mischaracterize ongoing audits. They attempt to alarm the public by referencing a former reporter near our election equipment, failing to mention the individual now works for the state auditor's investigative team. Yes, the election equipment is stored in the IT area and the investigator had a subpoena to collect information from the IT director. You may not have been notified in advance, but all of you, including the previous auditor, were made aware the investigator had a subpoena and a legal reason to be there. There are 2 sides to the state auditor's office, one for conducting routine audits and one for investigating misuse of public funds. I have filed complaints with the state auditor's office, including the $7,300 payment to Bergman Consulting and a salaried employee being paid overtime. I know I'm not the only citizen who has contacted the state auditor with concerns. The state auditor's office yesterday earned the highest possible rating from the National State Auditors Association peer review program for the 3rd consecutive time. Generally, private audit firms charge 30 to 60% more than the state. The state charges $100 an hour. Private firms average $185. Madison County audits have been done by the state for the at least past 16 years. Supervisors Hobbs and Stancil throw around the term forensic audit, but we should not confuse an examination to find evidence of fraud by CPAs with a forensics consulting firm that has expertise in fingerprint ID. Our community deserves transparency as to whether current impediments to audit progress are accidental or deliberate. The political bias appears entrenched within the county's leadership, and the community's patience with this hypocrisy is wearing thin. I respectfully ask that you receive and file my comments. I have included a link to the auditor's peer report and a hard copy as well. Thank you for your time.
I'll entertain a motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, motion carries. Go ahead and would you receive and file that now?
When we receive and file these, shouldn't they be included in the packets, and they're not?
No,
They're filed with.
They're just filed, they're not.
And you don't include them to show them? We used to. Yeah, when I first
They're made a
started.
part of the permanent record.
They're permanent records.
So you're gonna need me to
That's
turn that.
correct.
So if people want to see it, they can do it.
Excellent.
Okay, who would like to go next?
Hi, my name's Josh, I'm from Lorimer. Lived in Sept for a long time. I think we're all getting kind of tired of a small part of the public wanting to cause problems. We're tired of the overspending. We're tired of things not getting done. And if Rob Sand still hasn't gotten 23, 24 done, why would we do another? You know, they say it should cost 25 grand, and spend 100 grand on the last one. It just doesn't make sense to continue down the way we're doing things. If things are broken, we need to change them. 16 years of history that's, by most accounts, not been great, isn't a good excuse to continue doing that.
All right, thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
would like to speak next?
Hello, Dan Day, I live on Juniper Trail.
I'm sorry, can you speak up? I apologize.
I live on Juniper Trail.
Well, what was your name?
Dan Day.
Dan
Dan
Day.
Day, okay.
Anyway, I know you've got a zoning issue coming up, on Covered Bridge Road. We're right around the corner. I guess I've got one question. I don't know why there's a application of changes, I understand, from agricultural to residential with this project, and some concerns I have living out there. The roads that we have, despite the great efforts of the secondary roads department, which I think does a wonderful job, are not designed for the kind of traffic they carry now. And if we do a residential out there, I'm really concerned with safety issues out there. Not only are the roads getting really rough and hard to drive on, they get them fixed up fine, but this doesn't last. We have so much traffic, equipment's so heavy now. And with each house you put out there, you're not only gonna have their traffic, but you're gonna have Amazon, FedEx, UPS to each house multiple times. And the construction phase is also, we just went through that with one development there on Covered Ridge Road when I would go to work in the mornings and come back at night. The dust issue is just horrendous, and it surprises me we haven't had problems. And with the big equipment coming, and without a paved road, which I don't see that in the future, near future, I just question the wisdom of allowing residential developments. I mean, acreages like we've always had, I get that, that's fine. But if we're gonna go to smaller developments, I just would ask that you kind of consider that, because I think that's maybe not the best area without paved road heading to the highway. So that's all.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else in the room like to speak?
Ryan Hobart, I am the zoning administrator. I wanted to express a little bit of frustration and I don't understand the reason for Ms. Stancil stating that I want to get to a yes on Cottonwood Creek subdivision. While I understand that the attorney that you had appointed, I did talk to him yesterday, and he really never said that he gave any legal advice on if the comprehensive plan could be utilized for denying a subdivision. I have yet to, other than the attorney that is representing this individual, have an attorney tell me that an in-place adopted comprehensive plan cannot be used as a part or founding portion of denying a subdivision. In that we've had numerous public hearings, and my recommendation from day one was to deny. The final plat review by the zoning commission was to deny. And here we are. I mean, I'm firm in believing that it's going to be an approved vote. I want to understand the reasoning, I guess, on why that is.
We can talk about that when we get to that resolution. We'll find some clarity. Thank you, Ryan. Okay, anyone else?
I'm Ruth, and I live on Juniper Trail. I'm married to Dan, and I too have concerns which Dan didn't have mentioned, but the people that are currently living in the neighborhood, that area was zoned agricultural. So people have made purchases and investments and a lot of money based on this is ag. and now all of a sudden it's going to change, or you're thinking of changing it, that doesn't seem very fair to those residents that are currently living in the area. And oftentimes, when a rural area does become residential, you have people moving into the area that do not understand the lifestyle of what it is out in the rural area. You know, are they gonna be upset if, you know, the livestock smells that's next to them? When I was on the county extension council, over here we often had to deal and educate people moving from the city out because they didn't understand the fencing laws. You know, just because you don't have livestock, you have to maintain your half of the fence. There's all those kind of logistics as well. And two, I am concerned about the dust. I came into town the other day and I met on the gravel roads out there, this truck. It was a pretty good truck, and I think it was hauling things for, there was a party out in the neighborhood, but, to get the tents and stuff, and he came zooming down way faster than anybody ever drives on those roads. Dust everywhere. I had to park my car on the side of the road and wait for the dust to clear to even see, to get through the bridge. And then at the same time, I worry that who's gonna come behind me and not see me and run into me. It is dangerous when you have all those big trucks and all that traffic going on those roads. It's a wonder someone hasn't gotten seriously hurt. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know I didn't use my 3 minutes, I just wanted to bring one other thing to your attention too, was the fact that you had concerns about the driveway and then there was concerns about native prairie. To my knowledge, knowing the ordinance as good as I do, I don't believe that there's anything within their secondary roads regulations or stipulations stating that those are reasons for denial either. So why was that used to table? And again, we have an adopted comprehensive plan that does state that that is incompatible use for that land use district, and that was never even a part of the equation. So I just wanted to add that, I forgot to.
Anyone else wish to speak?
Hi, my name is Trevor. I represent Brant in connection with the Cottonwood Creek development. I just want to speak briefly to the comprehensive plan and the adoption of the comprehensive plan, what that looks like from a legal standpoint. So when the board passes or approves or adopts a comprehensive plan, that is what it is. It just becomes a plan for the county. The next step in that process is the implementation of that plan, passing zoning ordinances, passing regulations, and actually putting, use an expression, teeth to, or a way to enforce that plan. Madison County is not done so yet. Cottonwood Creek complies with all of the statutes and ordinances that are in effect today. And Iowa Code 354.8 requires its approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Okay, we will go ahead to the folks on the phone. If you wish to speak, please hit *6 so we can hear you. And then go ahead and state your name, where you're from, and you have 3 minutes. Anyone? Is anyone unmuted? All right. Well, then we will go ahead and move to the resolutions. The first resolution is approving the hire of L Greenman as the second part-time second deputy effective, September 24th. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I think we need to know where we're at financially before we approve this.
I think she needs help and she's gotta get stuff done. We've gotta clean this
Well,
up.
She had an hourly employee, you had an employee that you had available to help you as needed, already on payroll. What
She
happened
made
there?
$29.99 an hour, and she worked remotely, and wasn't my employee. So I don't know how that translates into a budget written and approved by the Board of Supervisors under the previous auditor. Okay, and we've got 20 hours a week. You guys didn't want a full-time person. So
And she wasn't using 20 hours a week.
again, she was a part-time temporary person. I don't find the two equal.
Okay.
I'm providing you guys with, I think, valid reasons. Things are coming to my attention as I'm digging out that are going to require a great deal of additional work. This is not the norm.
Okay, I understand that.
And
But-
that's why I say I truly wish, but I don't feel that your request to know where we are just for my department is a fair or legitimate
I
reason.
wanna know where we're at for
For
all of
everybody.
it.
That's
For
fine,
everybody.
but this is the auditor's budget.
So-
This is my department that, for the taxpayers, for me to serve the taxpayers, to do it the right way, to figure out where we are. I mean, you guys know full well what is behind the scenes here.
So on September 2nd, we had on the agenda to approve a payroll software that will reduce a lot of the manual processes that take so much time by
That
your
was,
staff.
that was
If I-
nothing, I
If I
don't,
may finish, let me finish. And you, out of abundant concern, and rightly so, requested the board, and Kylie requested the board that we table it until taxes were out, we were aware of the budget, year end was done, you didn't wanna spend any more money. And right now, you are at 24% of your budget, and that is including the extra cost for the special election and the fact that none of the hours that were budgeted for that second deputy, very few of them have been used. So if we approve this, it's gonna put us over. Based on the numbers, and I had Laura, thank you, send me a updated budget sheet for the entire
auditor's
county.
budget,
No,
correct.
the whole county, cause I
Oh.
looked at all of them. Some of them are a little over, some of them are okay, but in this particular case, because we had the special election, we had, some other additional costs that you mentioned, is right now, we are over, and that's, if we hire this person right now, doesn't mean we can't hire him later. It would put you over, and that's a concern of mine, especially since, you know, I'm grateful the taxes are going out, but folks have 30 days to pay those. So we are gonna be 30 days late, potentially receiving all our revenues, which means we're gonna be tapping into the cash reserves sooner. And that's concerning to me, and I kinda wanna stick with your original request was, I'm concerned about the money, we shouldn't be spending money right now, especially since your office has
Additional
functioned.
non-budgeted money. Okay, this is budgeted money.
It's budgeted, but you're over budget if we put this in here right now. That's my concern. It was budgeted, but
But
we didn't
that did
budget
not
for-
stop you guys from bringing in the unbudgeted, inspector to the building. That was not in the budget.
That was budgeted.
No, it's not in your budget.
It is, it's not in our line item budget, but it is budgeted under consulting in a different department.
But not in the supervisor's budget. And what about the additional attorney fees?
That is actually budgeted. We have a separate line under tort for that. So they're all budgeted. So there's a lot of misinformation going around here, which is disappointing. But it is budgeted. It's not under the supervisor department, but it is under a different department. And
Which
that's where it's
department
in.
is that?
The tort department for the, it's under tort,
Correct.
okay?
99?
And for the, I think it's 64, I don't know offhand the number, I'll have to look it up. But it is budgeted, and as well as the consultant, that's under, I think it's 99 for the consultant. But that's budgeted as well, because we had it part of our budget discussions, so it's in there. So again, this office has functioned, you're at the same spot that Shelley was, with 2 full-time, 2 part-time HR. And up to this point, it's been functioning with just one,
It's not functioning.
I mean.
Okay, right? I
You
mean,
posted for this job literally 24 hours after you started, after you sat here and told the supervisors that you didn't wanna spend any more money. And
I
then
said I didn't
24
want to
hours
spend any,
later-
but please, I did not want to spend any more budgeted, non-budgeted money. This is budgeted.
And when we talked
And
about
when
it,
that's what budget amendments are for, that's when people go to find money, as I can quote supervisors. I'm telling you,
and when we talked about it here, and we took your advice, but we talked about it, because Diane mentioned where would we pull it from, I said, well, we have that second part-time deputy that's not being utilized. We
but that's
use
my
that funds.
decision, that's not yours.
I understand that, and that's why we agreed to that, but your main premise for not getting that payroll, which would have made a lot of people's lives easier, not just your office, but a lot of departments' lives easier, you opted to say we didn't want to spend the money, and we agreed with you. We agreed with you.
I don't know that you really,
She
I
said she would
can't, I
entertain
talked
that
to
at a later
everybody.
date.
I understand that, but we agreed to table it because you said you wanted to
Well,
have a handle on your
Again,
office.
I will then just do what you're gonna do and continue to do what you're doing.
Okay.
That's okay. It's pretty-
So, anyway. Any
So I
further
had a
discussion?
note on my calendar for October to hopefully that we could start the budget process early this year and not wait till February. And so we need to get this together, right? We need to know where we're at, what's this looking like?
Because we don't have year end done yet. We have something to approve to get that going, so I'm hopeful that is quick. But I'm concerned about, because a lot of people understand, any budget amendment you do doesn't bring new tax pay revenue in. We actually have to tap the cash reserves for that. So, I wanna have an idea of what our current cash reserves are, what they're gonna look like when we get tax revenues coming in, which are gonna be 30 days late. So I can say I'm uncomfortable right now committing to this, but there's a motion and a second on the floor, so we'll go ahead and call the question, or you guys want more discussion?
We can table it for future, unless we have a date, unless you just want us to vote today.
Well, if we vote it
Not to me.
down, then can't bring it up again for a year.
That's why I'm open to tabling it.
So then, do you rescind your second?
I will rescind my second, and I will make a motion that we table this until we know our financial picture.
Okay, well, we have to rescind the second first, and then the initial vote, your motion will die, and then we can do the tabling. So, so you've rescinded your second, and it looks like the motion is gonna die. So, are you gonna make a motion to table it?
I have a very general question, okay? I just need to know this, because I'm thinking of people that I'm about to hire. So, can I hire them, or should I wait?
Can we get together and talk about your budget
Well,
in your office?
no,
I looked at it initially, it looks good. I don't think that will set you over. But we can talk about it, and we'll look at it. If it doesn't set you over, I can't speak for the board, we shouldn't really be talking about it because it's not on the agenda. But we can certainly talk about it. And if the board is entertaining, we can always have a work
well,
session to discuss it.
I'm just saying, I'm not gonna put it out there and put their names out there and go down this rabbit hole, because this poor lady, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, please do not take that as that. I'm very not being that, please do not take it that way. But I cannot have them quit their jobs.
Right.
And put their notice in, and then to get a no from you guys.
This has happened once before, and I would prefer it not happen. But yeah, that's a very good question, so we can talk about it perhaps, if you wanna talk about it with us individually, or we can have a meeting, it's up to you, so. All right, so, we'll go ahead, you make a motion to take, the original question, dies for lack of a second, and you're making a motion to table?
Yes.
Do I have a second? I will second that. All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Motion to table, AO Resolution 092325A has been tabled. Moving on to, Auditor Resolution 092325B, approving State Auditor's Office for the fiscal year 25 Annual Audit. Just to let you know, there is a resolution further down to approve an RFP to do an independent auditor. So, that is, something for us to consider. So,
Yeah.
okay. All right, so is there a motion to approve?
So,
Is there a second? Not hearing a second, the motion dies for lack of a second. Moving on to Auditor's Office A092325C, approving the method of fiscal year 25 reconciliation by solutions. This is, based on what you said, Michele, this is to finally get our year-end stuff done,
Yes.
correct?
isn't this void without the state? Can you still?
No.
No,
Sorry.
it says on there that you approved it, based on what I read. So, so the question I go back to is, we couldn't circle, add, change, or delete, because we just don't know. Should we put a note on that solutions form to that effect, or not?
Do you approve let's just make this simple. Do you approve opening back up the fiscal year 24-25 in order to make corrections? And
That's-
whatever that means,
Okay,
under B that's attached.
okay, so my question goes to the form that we have to sign, I just wanted clarity. It's not circled because we don't know if it's gonna be an add, change, or deletion.
Or all of the above.
Or all of the above, okay, all right, that makes sense. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve that resolution. Do I have a first?
So,
Do I have a second?
Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on, SPV, resolution 092325A, approving the appointment of Mason Neal as trustee for Penn Township. Did we only get one person? We couldn't find a second one for trustee?
Are you looking at me?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Did we not have anybody set
That's
up?
what we could get, who we could get, and the most important reason we need to act before we get a second one is because we need a quorum in order to further what they need to do. So we're not giving up, but we certainly are trying, we need to move and act now.
Okay, understood, all right. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Mason Neal as trustee for Penn Township. Do I have a motion to approve?
so,
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Next one is approving the sale of the old conservation building via auction. Do I have a motion to approve?
so,
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. There's just a little typo there. We'll get that fixed on the agenda. Approving, the resolution of hiring an independent auditing firm for fiscal year 2025 annual audit with potential additional years. On the RFP, I gave you a RFP. It actually included fiscal years 25, 26, and 27. I did talk to several accounting firms, and they recommended that to provide economies of scale for that. I know there's concern about being late. However, there were a few firms that said that they would entertain the RFP. So there's 16 firms that I looked at, and hopefully we can have at least one of them, if not a few of them, submit bids. So, and if we don't, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. but again, it's up to the board to decide. So I will entertain a motion to approve that, and then we'll just have to decide who's gonna be the lead person to receive all the bids.
Wouldn't that be me?
It can be, but it can be the
I would like it to
supervisors
be
too.
me. I've got the documents and the
Should be
process.
the auditor, they should be sealed, and they should be opened in public.
Well, yeah, that part of the RFP is to be.
She can lock them up in a safe.
Do you have a problem with me doing it?
Usually for RFPs, it comes back to the chair for the person that's requesting the RFP, usually.
Well,
'Cause that's
this
what
is
we've
an
done in the
audit,
past.
this is an audit for the auditor, so.
They're responding with their quotes, so they're not asking, I don't know, maybe they may
I would,
ask for
if
documents.
it's all right with you, can I please be the one that manages this process? I will do it gladly, and
Okay.
that way I can get it in the
And you
paper
can
the
lock
way it
up
needs
the
to be
bids,
in.
you have the capability of locking them up, and they could be open in
Well,
public.
I'm
You
just
don't have
asking
anybody for them.
permission to
Yes,
manage the
absolutely.
process.
Yes.
As long as we're ensured that we get the information, share that with us.
That hurts my feelings that you think I wouldn't give you the information.
I didn't say that.
Oh.
It's just that I wanted to make sure we saw it.
Oh,
Yes,
oh,
yeah, we just wanna make sure that they're sealed,
Yeah.
considering all the eyeballs that are gonna be on this. I wanna make sure they're sealed. Obviously, we'll be contacting you for copies of past audits, probably.
of course, and that's why I'm saying I'd like to be a part of the process, since it's going to be our staff that's gonna have to start from scratch now.
Okay. So, we didn't have a motion yet, did we? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the hiring of an independent auditing firm for fiscal 25, 26, and 27.
So moved.
Do I have a second? I will second that. Any discussion?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm looking,
Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I think it's really important that as a board that we help our staff move forward and back up, and they, both of them, elected offices requested this, and we're ignoring it. I think this is not a good way to start.
So I don't view it as ignoring it. What I view it as is I'd like more eyes on our financials and helping us sort through this. To ensure we have checks and balances so we don't have criminal charges going forward. We have checks and balances to stop and catch this stuff on the front end. I think eventually, as we've discussed, we need a forensic audit. We need to do a deeper dive. We need to understand what this looks like, where our pitfalls are. So I want another opinion, and I want it timely. So.
I think having more eyeballs and new eyeballs would be good. We might have fresh perspectives on that, especially since I think there is a value, given everything we've gone through, that we have some form of forensic audit, or if lack of forensic audit, something deeper than we've done thus far. Because we've spent $100,000 already, it's just crazy. Just on the 23 and 24, so.
And we can evaluate once we get those bids, and, if they're crazy high and nowhere near that, then, we'll adjust.
Well, the state will bid on this.
So are we
already give us
also going
pricing?
to clarify what we mean between a forensic audit and a regular audit?
We're not at a forensic audit. I'd like.
So
that.
you're
We're
not
looking forward.
suggesting that?
No,
Okay.
It's
I
on the
wanna
RF
look forward.
It's on the
that.
RFP, so the person that responds could have that skill set. Because not all accounting firms have the ability or staff to do that.
And these will be people who are doing other counties, right? They're
Yeah.
not gonna be.
Right,
Okay.
these are people I pulled from the State Auditor's website.
Excellent, okay.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion carries. And next one are our secondary roads. Mike, you said we can consider, it's nice here. We can consider all these together? Okay.
So I would move to approve A, B, C, and D for secondary roads.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next one is approving Kylee Barber as the USB authorized user. I thought we already did this. We didn't do this yet?
Not for this one.
Not for this one. Okay, all right. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next, final resolution is approving the plat of Cottonwood Creek. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second, I'd like to discuss.
Any discussion? Go ahead.
So where's Ryan? I want a clear understanding, Ryan, of why you oppose this. I want to understand.
Specifically because of the comprehensive plan.
What about the comprehensive plan?
It states that that's an incompatible, a residential subdivision is an incompatible use within a primary agricultural land use district.
Okay.
So, my concern is the fact that we do have a comprehensive plan that we worked really hard on. I was part of that 3-year process. Trust me, it is near and dear to my heart because of so much time that I put into it. The issue though is, a comprehensive plan is not the same as an ordinance. And where my discomfort comes from is that the ordinances are actually the legislation of the county, for lack of a better term. And, he did not have to accommodate our request for less driveways. He didn't have to do that. Because it's not in our current ordinances that we can do that. But he did, and I appreciate that. I'm very uncomfortable if we do not have an ordinance regulating things right now, us regulating from here. It's private property, and I understand there's folks around that are concerned, and I do understand that. However, unlike wind turbines, this is not as impactful as that, and I'm really uncomfortable telling people what to do with their property when we do not have a specific ordinance regulating that right now. We're working towards it, but right now. So the reason why I wanted to get to a yes, Ryan, was that was the reason. Is I wanted to get to a yes because while I have a comprehensive plan that I would love to, use as legal basis, we currently do not have an ordinance right now. That was passed with public hearings and all that kind of stuff. It was passed by the board. So that is the reason why I'm speaking for myself, I can't speak for the board, why I plan to approve this.
So,
but it doesn't mean that this is not something that's gonna be changed in future ordinances, because I truly believe that we do have issues with unregulated growth, and my hope is that we have some ordinances in place soon that can contain that.
so as I understand what you're saying. As you spearheaded the comprehensive plan, why was it that we chose to do it this way? I wasn't in the position that I'm in when this was all started. Why did we choose, this is pointless. This serves no purpose at this point in time. And we spent 3 years on it. And how many dollars?
Because that's the first step we're required to do under Iowa code before we can change ordinances.
So why did we adopt this until the ordinances weren't ready?
You have to adopt it first.
You
before
can do
change
that the week
ordinances.
before. It doesn't have to be 3 years in advance.
But the thing is, as soon as we adopted the comprehensive plan, we immediately started the process to hire a consultant to help with the ordinances. So that was the first step. We had to have the comprehensive plan to guide how to change those ordinances.
Right,
That
but
was
this
very
could have
important to us.
this could have been a done drafted document that didn't hold any standing until the week before our ordinances were completed. To pass this, get this approved, and then we got this to use when we passed the ordinances.
But that wouldn't be very transparent. We wouldn't have time for the public to review it, to digest it.
I'm not saying we're
to
gonna
get-
hide this.
No, my point is that you do the comprehensive plan first, so the public knows exactly what direction you're moving in. As soon as that happens is when we change the ordinances.
So
So we had to pass that comprehensive plan first before we could take the next step to change the ordinances.
So just so everybody in the public is aware, if you want to provide anything in the county that you want to develop, right now is the time to do that. That is extremely frustrating to me.
Which is why I wanna get our ordinances updated as soon as possible.
And they should have been done way before now, and we should have adopted them simultaneously, or like you say, this has to be done first, whatever. I think that was a huge mistake. But just so everybody and you are agreeing to this, that it's a free-for-all until we do something.
As long
And
as
I've mentioned moratoriums, I've mentioned all this stuff because it's wide open.
we can certainly do a moratorium on all development and put that as an ordinance.
You didn't want any part to do with that, and I don't really either. I think it would have been wise to do it the way that I'm discussing with you.
Right now, we do not have, as long as they're compliant with our ordinances right now, then they can move forward. Now, this owner honored our request, which I appreciate,
And
by reducing by cutting in half the required driveways to reduce the traffic on our roads, which I greatly appreciate.
Yeah.
But technically, he did not have to do that.
And I want to be very transparent to Mr. Kelly and everybody that's involved there. This isn't a me and him issue.
Understood.
This is countywide. If it comes to me and it's in here that says no, I'm gonna say no. And if you guys wanna override it, you can override it. But this is what I'm working off of.
So are you providing feedback to where are we at with our ordinance? Have you reviewed all the
I've got a
documents?
draft of the zoning regulations.
Okay. The full draft, or is it just definitions for now?
No, it's full draft. I haven't reviewed it. I was gone last week on vacation. I have not reviewed it to the extent that I would like to before I report on that.
Okay, so we're getting closer to
Getting
having
closer.
new ordinance. Good, all right, thank you. I'm sorry for distraction. We were in a discussion phase regarding Cottonwood Creek. Is there any other discussion?
I don't know how we can, if we don't have zoning ordinances to back it up, I don't know how we can deny it. And the owner's been flexible. The zoning board was split on the original vote. I know the document said approved, but it was denied because it was 3-2. And again, I commend the owner. I think we'd be facing potentially litigation if we didn't approve it at this point, so I think we need to proceed.
All right.
All right, it's going to pass, it's two ayes. Ben already knows I'm a nay vote. We do not have the infrastructure. Comprehensive plans are the will of the people, ordinances are the teeth. You're right, we don't have the teeth. But this is, you put 6 houses or 4 houses out there in the creek in the middle, you are going to change the everything. You're going to have runoff you've never had, even down to 3 driveways. The driveways don't bother me. It's the traffic from all the driveways. And we do not have the infrastructure. And the ordinances do have to be done. I am a nay vote. And Ben knows it. It has nothing personal. Just as I have a background of 22 years of conservation, I just don't think it's a good fit.
All right, so.
I don't disagree, but.
I call the question, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion carries. Moving on to applications for licenses, permits, and cancellations. Motion approving temporary application for liquor, wine, beer, and a permit for après, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, après Bar Company effective September 28th.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, is this the one that we had to help a little bit? Second one? Okay, I'm just curious. Okay, it's fine.
All right.
It's okay, thanks.
All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And I was aye, by the way, I was proudly sorry. Motion approving renewal of application for a liquor license for Lotus Moments. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're now into board member reports. Who would like to start?
Go ahead.
So we've had several meetings, been working on the potential building sale and office move. And we've had our annual courthouse security committee meeting yesterday, walked through that. That was good to get everybody in the room. We've got safety committee movement. We evaluated an entity that will provide online training for employees for safety related issues. We're kind of looking at different platforms and what's going to be most efficient for what we're looking for and most cost effective, of course, and the easiest to manage for us. So we do have movement. We've got a long way to go to get that off the ground. I would like to, we'll get there on under old business. Never mind.
That's all I have for this meeting. That's all I have. Diane?
I attended Aging Resources. I had a landfill meeting. The landfill has as you know, we are the landfill for South Central Iowa. We have a really large tipping area. Landfill is not county owned. It's only, it's run on its tipping fees, which means the gate fees when you go in. We have made a lot of improvements. We have fences up. I designed a sign. I was driving down the road to go to a meeting, and behind the truck, the crap was blowing out of the truck, hitting my car. So I waited for him to come in and pay, and no, I was not nice. But they have the tarp trucks, and we're getting better about tarping trucks because it makes the landfill, it's dangerous and it makes the landfill responsible. We are working on writing job descriptions to start to hire because everyone out there is older than me, so it's getting up there. So we've got to do something, but we're moving along really well. And after the tornado, we are functioning well. I attended Historical Foundation and I hosted chamber chat because I have a business at my business, so that was really fun.
Okay. Some of the stuff I'll expand further when we get into old business, but I attended an NPO meeting. I spoke with several contacts regarding ADA compliance. I spoke to several different accounting firms. I also had a call with a vendor regarding website opportunities, improvements, and unfortunately I was sick for a good portion of the last week, so that's all I was able to accomplish. And if you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and move into old business. Diane, you have good?
On discussing public health and veterans affairs, I'm wondering if that appraised very high, and it concerns me a great deal. There's quite a bit for sale in this town. And if we move everybody and that sits empty, we're in trouble. I don't want that. I wonder if we should entertain keeping Veterans Affairs and Public Health out there and moving the DMV at one time, because I wonder if that might work. Just a thought. Because that is a really good prime real estate. It's a really good building. If we ever need more, we could never build that for the appraised price.
So I think this is gonna be a pretty in-depth discussion based on my findings and some of the things that we have to grapple with. I'm gonna suggest we set a separate meeting to talk about this specifically. There's a lot of details to work through with that. We're gonna be approaching 2 hours for this meeting. We need a good solid hour or more to talk about this.
I think that's a good idea. Some of the information I got I spoke to Iowa Workforce, I've spoken to the ADA liaison for the state. Some good news there, so I'll share that, is both entities are willing to do a review of our buildings for free, of whether or not they're ADA compliant, which is, that's a blessing. Also too, if a building is compliant to older ADA standards, they're automatically called safe harbor, so they're grandfathered in. So moving folks to this building, if this building comes up as safe harbor, there wouldn't be an issue with compliance.
This building annexed?
This building, but she also said, this is the state liaison, she also said that as long as you have a plan in place, even if they're moving someplace that may not be fully compliant, as long as you have a plan in place, then you can move there, there's not an issue. So especially if where they're moving from is partially not compliant as well. She also said that it would be beneficial to make your buildings compliant, and by selling the public health building, we would have the funds to do so. Any kind of upgrades to the courthouse. I did ask Rick Seeley as to why when we did all this money to update the courthouse and do an ADA ramp and all that kind of stuff, no consideration was given to the bathroom, because everything has to be accessible. And he said that at the time, the interior part was voted down. That predates me and predate you too. So unfortunately, we go in and spend this money thinking now we're ADA compliant, and technically the courthouse is not, because we do not have a bathroom that's accessible. So, but the good news is that as long as you can show a transition plan, and the transition plan can be as simple as a Word doc saying, this is what we plan on doing in a year's time, in 2 years' time, and they regularly update it. She said you can show the feds that we are working towards it, and that would be fine. So those are some good news on that, but I'm especially pleased that they're willing to do the evaluation for free. So I'm gonna probably work with her, and then I'm gonna connect with the Iowa workforce as well, and maybe get an idea of what we need to do. Some ideas that were thrown around were we can not only make our building compliant for our use, but also for the state courts. Because right now, if someone wants to go up to the courtroom up on the second floor, they have to use that elevator, which of course is not ADA compliant. So if we move something downstairs, if we create a conference room or something like that the court could potentially use, if they have somebody that needs that, it would serve dual purpose. So these are some ideas that are thrown around, but to your point, I think we should talk about it some more.
Yeah.
But the good news is I don't think there's any issue in moving people based on my conversation with the state ADA liaison. So yeah, so we can talk about that at the end of the meeting if you want to set a time, a date.
Can we just do that now?
Okay, we can do that now. So Diane, what dates and times work good for you?
Well, in the past, we've kind of reserved this 9:30 slot on Tuesdays, so I kind of have that standing open on my
I
calendar.
can't next Tuesday. I have to have those
The surgery.
screws taken.
Okay.
I have loose screws.
No comment.
In my ankle.
So we can, let's see.
When is that surgery, Diane? Is that
Tuesday.
That's Tuesday, so could we squeeze it in Monday?
I don't have anything Monday, let me check for sure.
Could we
Monday
say-
the 29th is,
Yeah, could we say 10 o'clock, just so everybody has a chance to get their morning started and?
Yeah, that works.
We have that meeting at 1 is all Diane,
that's,
at 1 o'clock.
not, that's way too late. This
No,
is the
that's
20th.
That's on the 29th at the hospital.
Oh, the hospital, yeah, 1 o'clock, that one. Yeah, I have that one, but she said 10.
Speaking of that, we probably need to, you mentioned the opioid, we probably need to talk about, the task force too, to make sure it's fully staffed.
We're gonna have a meeting this week, so we're getting that on. We're working on it.
Okay, well, we have to appoint somebody.
Well, we're gonna have to, yeah.
Because each one of us, I think the last conversation was, we're gonna put a name up on that.
All right, you guys will put a name up and we'll put a name up. We have a name up.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, my.
Special
computer just
meeting at
died.
9:30 on the 29th.
9:30 on the 20,
I thought
10?
it said 10.
10?
9:30 is fine too.
10's all right.
Okay.
That gives me time.
10.
Monday the 29th, 10 o'clock, got it? Thank you.
Special meeting.
And then do we want to add the opioid task force to that discussion too?
Let us have our meeting so we can.
Okay, and then
we'll put
maybe
it
add
on
in
for
2
you.
weeks.
We'll bring you applications.
So, well, are we doing
You can each
applications?
appoint one and you can, send them to me, whoever you want, and then we have one and we'll.
Well, this is something the board votes on, not the task force.
It's all right, well, okay, you
So-
do that.
So we all need to nominate someone?
So what we can do is
I don't-
keep it in your mind, and we can add it to the agenda on the 30th to talk about. And then the next meeting, we just have a resolution ready to go. So,
Okay.
is that
The
okay?
29th, you mean?
I don't know that.
I'm sorry, the
Does the
29th.
task force nominate or does the board?
The
Yes.
board appoints it, Diane, task
Got
force
it.
does not have anything to do with it.
All right,
Do you want to just add it to the agenda for the normally scheduled meeting on the 7th, or are we going to be discussing it on the 29th?
I think we should discuss it on the 29th and then have
Prepare for action.
something prepared for action at the next meeting.
Okay.
Because then the 29th will still be a work session,
Mhm.
and then we can kind of hash out who we would like on the board. Because I'd like to come to consensus if we can.
Okay.
Because refresh my memory, when are the reports due from Turning Point? Is that October?
They're due at the end of their, each quarter, so they will turn them in at the end of the month.
End of
At the end of
September?
their quarter.
Or end of their fiscal year?
The end of the school quarter.
School quarter,
End of the school quarter?
End of the school.
When is that? End of October?
I think so.
Okay.
Been out of school too long, I don't know.
Me
Okay.
too.
All
And
right.
they, I got a report from them, and they're gonna make a big report, but it is going very, very well in the schools.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yes, and the court systems are very pleased. It's going very well.
That's great. Okay, my laptop just died, so.
Uh-oh.
So the 29th at 10 is a special meeting, and then on, what else do you
Building
want?
sale and opioid task force, we'll discuss those two items. So, Mac, you can send us an invite. Thank you. All right, so then we have BTWI and the courthouse is next up.
Yes, I did put this, I can't remember if I
I
put
put
this
it
on the
on
agenda.
there. I have called, you asked me to reach out to the third floor. I have twice. None of them want this because they don't know that any of the studies, yet it's too soon to know, and no one up there wants it up there. I know the city does, they have reached out to me twice that it would benefit them. But I want it, I mean, if my staff says no and they work under it, that's
So-
where I found out, they don't want it.
And that's fine, I'm not disagreeing with that. They did mention that they could consider the water tower, the city water tower, as another option. It's not the most ideal option for them because the courthouse is in the center. But they did say that should we not approve it, that they can go out to the city and see if they can put it on the water tower.
Or the city could put it in their building.
Their building isn't high enough,
I think St. Charles just built it,
just put a tower up.
if the people don't, if our workers don't want it, I will honor that, because I'm not the one sitting
Absolutely.
under it.
Yeah.
Because they
some
did
of the
reach out to
studies
me.
say-
They did reach out to me to find out what the status was, and I said it's kind of a holding pattern until,
If they reach back, say no, I can,
well, I can
we're in
tell them.
agreement.
I can tell
Go
them.
ahead.
Okay. All right, new business, discuss merging with Southern Iowa Region LEPC.
That's Mitch.
Okay, we'll come back to it. All right, so, we'll come back to that. The next one is discuss my government presentation request. We had an entity that requested to give a presentation to the board. Our normal policy is that we discuss it first before we allow a presentation from a salesperson, for lack of a better term. So I don't know if that's something you guys wanna entertain or not.
Fine with that.
I don't, do we utilize the program we got, Ryan, when, Brooke was environmental health?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's more 911 based. This would be like information to where, the public signs up for it and then they get
I
texts.
did read it.
So,
I'm not
it could be
interested.
911, it could be like, the courthouse is closed for the snow, or board of supervisor meeting, or public hearing or something like that. I think it's a good idea to make it more, so it's more proactive in getting information for those that sign up for it, as opposed to people coming to our website to find stuff. But of course, this costs money, so,
I don't wanna do it. They can look on the website. We can't spend money, we can't hire people.
Same time, not even hear the presentation.
okay. So what I left,
I don't wanna hear it unless you want to.
I'm fine with
I
that.
can
I'm
sit
okay
and
with
listen.
So what I'll do is I told them I had to reach out to you folks to find out, and then I will let them know that this time we're not interested.
Sounds good.
All right.
Mitch?
Thanks, Mitch.
Thank you.
you sent this to us, didn't you?
Yes.
And Mitch, what's your region?
What's that?
What's your region, what county?
We're in District 4 of the Homeland Security, but the region that I would like to join, we'd be joining Ringgold, Decatur, Wayne, Clark, Union, Warren. So the majority of the EMAs that I work with and have a very good relationship with, especially my mentor being in Warren County. He is somebody who has promised to respond to anything that we need as long as we're in need. Just keeping that partnership with them, being able to work tightly with them, because they've already got an LEPC going. And when counties like that join together, then you can make what's called a regional. You can make a regional emergency planning committee. That way just everybody shares the same resources. We'll get to do exercises together. We'll get to plan on things. We will have more access to information. Joining an LEPC also takes care of like legal compliances and liability protections that we would need if there would be an anhydrous tank. You know, something horribly catastrophic happens to that. If we were not in an active LEPC and the federal government's come in, they're not gonna help. It's all falling on us. So this is a way to protect ourselves. There's no fee. It's just working with the people that I already know. It gives me access to a lot more training opportunities and knowledge. Instead of me having to figure it out, I can work with EMAs that got a couple decades experience.
So if something catastrophic happens and you need 4 tractors with front loaders, you can call any of them right now.
Mhm.
So it just gives you more opportunity to reach out and say, hey, can you guys send this?
Yes.
Do you not really
Somebody
have?
would have it. Well, I mean, we would, but it would be all our burden. We wouldn't have any chance of getting any help from FEMA, any help from Iowa Homeland Security, because they want us to have an active LEPC that we could prove we're doing meetings. These are our plans. It's more focused on planning than it is on response. It's planning ahead of time, knowing what routes we have, like the pipeline safety course that we're going to. It's just everybody knowing where the same things are within the county, all working together, all doing exercises together, planning how would we respond to something like this. And then exercises really are a good way to find out if you're ready for anything, instead of actually having it happen and then find out if you're not ready.
So is this kind of like the mutual aid formal agreements that utility companies have with each
Yes.
other? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and this
I'm
will
familiar
give us a
with
lot
that.
of protections on our side.
Okay.
So in case the state or federal government wants to come in, this allows us to be prepared, because we've shown that we have plans, we have policies, we practice, we know what we have on hand. We're gonna be getting a lot more anhydrous storage within the county. So the more chemicals and the more anything like that we're gonna have around is something that we need to be more prepared for if something catastrophic is to happen.
So this would allow you to train together, which if there's a bunch of you, training is more available, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then anybody could go to those. You guys could all be part of this. Any of our first responders can go to their trainings. So anybody would be more prepared because they'd be able to take part in it. You know, us having all volunteer firefighters, it's a lot harder for them to leave in the middle of the day to go to an exercise. Where if we get somewhere where there is some professional firefighters, they're always there, they're always available. Most people's ESFs for firefighting is pretty simple, and for the most part, the responders are gonna deal with the situation when they get there, how best they see fit, who's ever in charge. But instead of me guessing, this is what a firefighter would do, it'd be nice to know that this is their plan, that this is what we do in this kind of league, this is what we do if, heaven forbid, a train car would roll over. You know, something like what happened was in Ohio a couple years ago, or Pennsylvania, where they had that horrible explosion.
They're
This
still
is
cleaning up.
protecting ourselves, yeah,
They're still
and
cleaning up.
for no fees, just to be part of this and to be mindful of it, and to show that we are planning ahead of time for this. It's just another way to check our boxes and to be prepared.
So do you need a resolution or just our blessing and then your board will approve?
Yes,
Is
I
that-
need you guys I need your blessing, and then I can take it to my commission and then explain to them why we need this. And then I'll need signatures from my chair, myself, and my
So
vice
you
chair.
can you confirm that we don't need a formal resolution?
Yes, I will confirm.
Because if we need one, it sounds like,
We'll put it on Monday.
yeah, it sounds like to me that the board is in consensus to approve it.
Okay,
So if you can confirm that we don't, whether or not we need a formal resolution,
yes.
I just don't wanna be surprised later on.
They didn't have to do it
And have
again.
FEMA use it as an excuse, I'm like, you never had a resolution, we don't need to give you any money.
You know,
Yes.
if your board
Oh.
requests, we could do a resolution just to, so it's on the precaution.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah,
isn't gonna make any
better be
difference.
safe than sorry in a
Yeah.
situation like that. Yes.
Okay, yeah, my blessing.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it forward.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for
Thank
your
you,
time.
and sorry you had to wait till the end, Mitch.
Have a good day.
All right.
You too.
Okay, the next one, we already discussed meeting, decorum, so the next one is ordinance review and update, and Ryan already gave us an update on that, so unless you have anything else to say on that? Nope. All right, well then, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor to adjournment, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed?